I cycled around Khar and I counted about nearly 160 dead trees just in the gullies of Khar.
It's a very Parsi thing. Though.
Yeah.
He's cycling and counting trees. Hot chicks running all over the place. Khar proper, the heartbeat of young India. And he's like, tree, tree, tree. There's a young woman in a tight dress going by and going, hi Zoru, tree. I'm the kind of guy till up to yesterday used to urinate in public. Okay, and I felt it was right.
Good for the plants.
Oh, is it? That's fine. So if I join you at Aarey, but I take a leak, I mean, I'm doing my bit to grow,
Absolutely.
not destroy. Cyrus Says completes 2,000 episodes. Not yet, but in some time. I mean, long time to go. I mean, the boss, honestly, 300 episodes or 400 episodes to go. But I thought I'd just say it in case we don't. Because there's all kinds of threats around us in the world at the moment. I'm a little worried. But here on Cyrus Says, we have Zoru Bhathena. I won't take the prophet's name, but we call him Zoru. My mother used to call him Zoro, of course. Because, I mean, you must be used to all that growing up. I'll quickly give a little background. The Bhathena family, very big in sports. Farhad, his elder brother, was the first Indian to crack the 1-minute barrier in 100 meters freestyle. Do you know this? Before he slapped you around like a little boy when you were a young kid, he broke the 100 meters. And I used to idolize him a little bit because, you know, when you all were training in otters, not so much you're younger than me, but when he was at his pomp, I used to basically watch him, and he was this big, tough guy with big arms and legs and, you know, muscular fellow and all that. So I wanted to be Farhad when I grew up. Then I saw him 40 years later. And I must tell you, not the same. Not the same, but lovely guy, lovely guy.
He can still give you a couple of whacks.
No, he's a tough. His moustache is bigger than mine. But then there's another story. We actually, as a young kid, I had gone for nationals to Calcutta, swimming nationals. And there was Faizullah Raja and Farhad were the big guns out there, the big tough boys. And we got into the finals against Bengal in Calcutta. In Calcutta, Maharashtra playing Bengal, and we were winning. And the crowd decided that this is not correct.
There were some riots or something.
Yes, there were some riots. They started throwing things, and then they chased us. And they locked us inside one like chapel-like place, I remember. And Farhad was trying to protect me and all the younger ones and all. I was most impressed because they were throwing things and they were charging us. I could have died in Calcutta that day, if not for Farhad Bhathena. So my question is, where is he?
He's around. You want him to help?
No.
Help you
So no, subsequently
get things straight?
No. Subsequently, I met him and embarrassed him that day at Ripon Club. He met a few months back, years later. Quickly, context. All three of them car maniacs, and I think Farhad and Nawaz were amongst the first pioneers of racing.
Actually, our parents.
Parents, so it's in the DNA. And firstly, most Parsis are crazy about cars, but these guys take it to another level. We'll talk about all this a little later. We'll come back to your personal life also, but you're here as an environmentalist, which is very dangerous for us, generally speaking. Because I'm the kind of guy till up to yesterday used to urinate in public. Okay, and I felt it was right.
Good for the plants.
Oh, is it? That's fine. So if I join you at Aarey, but I take a leak, I mean, I'm doing my bit to grow, not destroy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zoru, let's go back now and explain how you, this boy from Juhu, how did you get into this whole thing? And explain, there are various things that you're fighting at the moment. I want to talk about Malabar Hill as well, where I live, where a lot of poor people live, or people with no dynamism and progressive thought. Aarey, but it started before that. There's something in the beginning before that. By the way, you haven't spoken a word.
Yes, I wasn't really allowed a second in the middle.
Farhad Nawaz. Finally, Zoru gets his break. Huh?
Well, my inroad into all this started stuck in the traffic at Khar subway in the east.
This sounds very elitist now.
Very
How do we
elitist,
sell this
yes.
program? Because you're left of center trying to save the world, but it starts in your big 7 Series BMW.
No, I don't, definitely not BMW 7 Series, but I don't know what it was. Must have been
They are
Hyundai
big-
something it was. I don't know.
Okay.
But
why plug them? They're not paying us. No. Screw you, whoever the hell you are. Unless you're paying, and then we'll tell you.
And I was stuck on that Khar subway road on the east. Every day.
When was this? Many years ago.
2015 or 16.
Okay.
So about 10 years now. And I was stuck there in the traffic and I was looking and said, shit, there used to be all trees here. Where did they go? And there were only white stumps of the tree left and like gravestones. It's like something looked very odd. I remember it as a tree covered this thing. And once I noticed that dead tree there, everywhere I went in the full city, there were these dead rain trees, including Khar-Bandra road. Every road, my office was at Kandivli. I used to drive every day from Khar on the highway from east to west, and everywhere I used to see these dead stumps.
So the stumps were left.
The entire tree was left.
Huh.
After it died, it became white.
Okay.
As I said, I noticed it once.
Not to be insensitive, but
Yeah.
in trees, when you die, you become white.
No, this particular one happened.
Okay.
Because either it was the species of that tree, or because it was the bug that took it over. I don't know what caused it.
Or just the car subway effect.
Could be.
A lot of people turn white waiting in traffic there. I mean, I'm just, yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, everywhere I went, I kept noticing these dead trees. And I at that time used to cycle around a lot also. So I cycled around Khar and I counted about nearly 160 dead trees just in the gullies of Khar.
It's a very Parsi thing. No?
Yeah.
He's cycling and counting trees. Hot chicks running all over the place. Khar proper, the heartbeat of young India. And he's like, tree. There's a young woman in a tight dress going by and going, hi Zoru, tree.
Absolutely like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And
So you literally counted 160 trees.
yeah, dead trees just in Khar, east and west. And then I was like, very strange. So I googled it. I said, first of all, who looks after these trees? I had no clue who looks after the trees on the road. I googled it. I found out that BMC looks after the trees.
But is it BMC's, they should look after the trees, or
Yeah.
this is a public space and we
there's
should look after the
a
trees?
tree department in the BMC who looks after the all
Oh.
trees in Mumbai.
Okay.
Come under BMC.
Note this, there's a tree department which is separate.
Yes, it's called the garden department.
But if all the trees are dead, what do they do?
So they were less work for them. Yeah.
Not to be critical, we're trying to find out here, we're not taking sides.
And as I googled it more, I found that the BMC tree department themselves had put a full booklet on their website that 5,000 rain trees have died all over Mumbai due to this mealy bug. It was a mealy bug
So
epidemic.
they didn't kill the trees. I
it
mean,
was a
it's
bug.
it's not a man-made issue.
No. It was a natural issue. A
Okay.
bug infected a tree, killed it,
And
and
it infected 5,000 trees.
it infected 5,000 trees all over Mumbai. By the time it came to my notice, I was like, this is crazy. Like how can it be like that? So I am quite a litigant.
We saw your body of work and I got a little worried. That's why we didn't call you when you were running late. We got very worried. I don't want to be the remnants of my tree stump somewhere outside the studio. No, not like that.
So I asked my counsel who I was dealing with in some other matter. I said, this is the problem. All these trees are dying all over the city and it's not right. And I figured out that it's BMC who's supposed to look after it. What should we do? So she said, I think the only way out of it is to file a PIL. I said, I've never filed a PIL. I don't have no clue what to do. She said, I've also not filed a PIL. Chalo, let's look at it and let's do it. And we took all the data. We filed it. And BMC, being BMC, of course, said that, no, this is a problem. What can we do? It's natural. It's this thing.
But what is, when you do a PIL for this, what is your demand? Because it's a natural issue that's happened.
You can't, somebody has to care for the tree, correct?
So it's still their responsibility, even though it's a natural issue.
Yes, there's an epidemic.
So how do they care for it? How do they sit and manage trees
in our
daily?
building, who looks after the trees? There's a Mali. Somebody looks
like
after
that.
it.
Acha. So
Correct? If a branch has
so
to
you're
be
appointing
trimmed.
people at different areas who sit and look after the trees.
They have 150 people in the tree department.
We are
in Mumbai.
overemployed. We'll send you 4 people. Ayush, buzz off. So you're saying that it's a culpable sort of situation where they have to take responsibility because the buck stops with the BMC.
Yes.
Even though I'm taking their side for a second to think that how the hell are they going to imagine a bug is going to come, for example?
But they were already aware of the bug. They already knew
So they didn't
about
take
it.
action after the bug had started.
Yes.
So they could have saved some trees. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So
Okay.
but they said there's a bug and we really don't know what to do. But now since you filed a PL,
In Marathi, when you say bug, it's a different meaning altogether.
correct, yeah. But it's okay. Now my Marathi is not so good, so you will stick to English.
काय बोलतोस? So
And-
getting back to it, so you filed the PIL. I was going to say IPL, but you can't use that word. I mean, look at the country we live in.
PL
now.
is like that only.
Yeah.
huh?
PIL
You never know.
ends at the
when
same
you-
time. End May you get it through. And so their point was they threw their hands up and said, "Ki boss, hum kya karega?"
Yeah.
Something like that. Huh.
But then they said, okay, but now since you filed a PL, now we have to show the court that we've done something. So they said we'll appoint some expert in some agricultural college somewhere in south of Maharashtra. They appointed one expert.
The way you're saying it is that poor guy has no degree only, but he is an expert.
No. I don't know about him. Some technical institution who they appointed.
Okay.
Why they can't
Who
do
did
it
the
them-
due diligence? Ki
Who did?
Hua kya and
And
exactly.
you know what they said?
Huh.
It was shocking. They said, yes, there's a bug. it's infecting a tree and then spreading to the next tree.
Right.
So all you need to do is the infected branches and the dead branches need to be cut off to avoid spreading it to the next one.
Oh.
If you leave the dead stump there,
it's like when the limb is injured and you cut the limb off and save the body.
Absolutely, save the body. But it's also another way around. Supposing we are very sick because we have a disease and we are in ICU. I die in the ICU. The first thing you do is you remove the body from the ICU and take them out. So other people don't get infected with you. But this was...
That's why they call it ICU.
Yeah.
The doctor says, I see you, and then they... Oh, God.
So this was a simple thing they did. And they implemented. And the medicine, of course, is a... When you're very sick, the medicine just helps a little bit. It doesn't cure it.
Right.
But the cure was to ensure that it didn't spread to the next branch, to the next tree. And they implemented it. And rain tree stopped dying.
Very quickly.
But just stopped after that. Because they just simply realized
So
that
it took your kick in the behind to make all this happen.
I don't know behind front, but yeah, maybe.
Let's say behind the front can hurt also.
Yes.
How will I produce more trees? Think about that. How do trees mate anyway?
I think we have to go back to the birds and the butterflies.
That's very good
flowers
point,
and
If you want to
butterflies.
increase trees, how do you make them... I mean, I know the seeds have to grow and all that, but they don't physically mate. It's a bit like my sex life. Your tree is here, my tree is there, we stay there. Whatever happens, happens. So that was the first act that you had done. And so this happened coincidentally. You just saw this thing, you had this moment, you went in being a serial litigant. You said, boss, I'm going to do something about this. And you actually got some results thanks to that. And then obviously the BMC has your picture because they're expecting you to return twice a year for various purposes. So we now come to the big one. So after that, what is the entire Aarey? Can you set up the Aarey thing for us? I know we got lots of calls to come and go there and all that. And of course, in the end, as everybody knows, they did kill, if I remember correctly, 1,500 to 2,000 trees were sort of killed. Our sound producer, Abhi, who himself looks like a plant, he was part of the movement and helped, he did his bit and said hello to you right now off camera. Aarey, as old as anything in Mumbai, one of the most foresty areas. Wildlife is also present there. I don't mean the actresses only. So what exactly happened and what were you trying to do and where do we stand now?
So the Aarey story, as far as I'm concerned, is quite interesting. You can have a good laugh about it. So because I filed this PIL about the trees, I got to know other people who were fighting similar issues.
Environmentalists of sorts.
Yeah, tree issues, nature issues, things like that. And another lawyer friend of mine said, oh, I have another friend, some trekking friend, contact him. That fellow contacted this way. And then one day I got a message. We are having a meeting. There's this Aarey issue, which we used to read about in the paper every day, but I had no clue about it. They said, we are having a meeting about this Aarey issue. So come and join since you'll meet so many more like-minded people.
Yeah.
So I went for the meeting. It was in somebody's house. We were about 10, 12 people. And I said, I'm come here first time. I introduced myself. I said, excuse me, but where is this Aarey in Bombay?
Wow.
I had no clue. I'm a Mumbaikar. I've lived all my life here.
Yeah.
I had no clue where is Aarey.
But it stops at Juhu. You didn't go beyond.
No. I have been in Aarey as a kid. From school, we went to see milk bottles getting filled in glass bottles. I have been
Although I drank my milk out of something else.
Okay. Yeah, but mine was in those glass bottles with different color caps.
Such
so I'm talking when is that?
Me also that small, only 17.
So they all looked at me shocked. I said, see, I mean,
it's fine.
I don't know where it is, So they said, on the Western Express Highway, this gully, that gully, you haven't been? I said, I have not been. Or what is the shame in it? I don't know every part of Mumbai. So they said, okay, chalo, we are having some protest meeting. It was December 2016. So I said, chalo, let me go and see. And I entered Aarey for the first time in my adult life to see what it was.
After the milk bottle experience.
After the milk bottle, which
you enjoyed
must have
thoroughly.
been in second, third
and when there were trees everywhere.
And I went in and I was like, where have I come? I mean, this is like Mathera and Mahabaleshwar type of place.
Forest, yeah.
I mean, unbelievable that it's in Mumbai. I'm glad most Mumbaikars like me don't know where is Aarey.
So
because they've never been in there.
So they don't spoil it, which
they
they
don't
did.
Spoil it, And we had the protest at one corner of a junction, and I asked them.
What happens in the protest? What do you do?
It was there were
You shout
thousands of-
slogans?
No, they were just hearing what was the issue, understanding. It's more a
But you're making some sound. What's
okay. It's a show of support.
Okay.
And I mean, we're not going to shout at anybody because there are only trees around there. So it's we're not shouting against them. So it was not a shouting protest.
This is a gathering basically. So you didn't have like an item number going on in the middle and influencers coming and going.
In one of the protests, we did have item numbers coming. I can this thing now, but you
need that sometimes for visibility. I'm just thinking,
but that's a different part of the story. You're going to get me into a lot of trouble. So
Mama, you're here to save the trees, not the item numbers.
Absolutely.
We can't save everything, huh? So you did the protest.
No. So I asked them. I said, okay, I've come here the first time, but where is this metro depot that they're doing? Where is it?
Yeah.
So somebody pointed out somewhere there.
Huh.
So after the meeting, I said, chalo, let me walk there and see it. So I walked in. There was this huge plot of land, and it was. I mean, I have not seen such a natural area. I mean, you have to go to like
Up north or south where
some.
Yeah.
I mean, not in Mumbai for sure. There was natural water flowing. There were birds. There were buffaloes.
The odd leopard?
No, I did see some leopard prints, but many years later.
Huh. As
I've
in a
not seen
handbag?
No, not that one. Also, no, proper one.
Huh.
I also got some of them turned out to be dog paws. Twitter is very good for.
Yeah.
You just have to post something and a full world will come with information.
And people will make up their own animals also.
Correct. How to distinguish between dogs and leopards.
Correct.
But thankfully, one of those paws was leopards and some were dogs. But so it was this gorgeous plot of land, and I'm like, how come it's in Mumbai? And I mean,
that's such a negative thing to say, but
no, honestly, I mean,
beautiful land, Mumbai mein kaisa ho gaya?
it's I can completely understand that everybody who
Yeah.
wants to develop is like, why is this nonsense here? Let's develop it. I get to see that.
And there is nothing left in Mumbai which is not concrete. It's almost very, our hanging gardens, which we'll come to later,
Yes.
not that great anymore. So there was this pristine foresty thing, and then?
And it was like, I mean, this is something that we need to fight about. And quite frankly, government being government, that's all sorts of nonsense.
This is still now 2017,
This
18.
was in 16. This was December 16 when I first came into
Correct.
Aarey. I didn't even know where Aarey was before.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place. And anybody who argues about Aarey, I just simply say, why to argue? Let's go to Aarey. We'll discuss there. Come, we'll drive around. We'll walk around. What do you want to do? Let's have the discussion there. But nobody who wants to argue wants to come there to argue. That's
the other thing. Actually, it's a bit away from civilization in a sense, which should have made it safe to preserve and keep as a foresty area and whatever. But go on. So then, what happens in the next?
Then
the government announces.
The matter was already in court since 2014.
Right.
A lot of citizens had already moved. High Court, NGT. NGT had given a stay. Government being government. See, government is the one who makes the rules. They're the one who breaks the rules. They're the one who police the rules. They're the one who change the rules which are inconvenient.
But can I play the other side for a second?
Sure.
I'm trying to see what the arguments are. There's this Bengali word called bhikas, no? Which in Hindi becomes vikas, right? And
okay.
So not just in India, across the world, urbanization starts happening because people think we need progress, we need to have, civilization has to grow to accommodate people, infrastructure has to grow to accommodate a way of life, etc., etc., etc. And the whole thing, of course, is where do you draw the line, where you guys come in. But their argument is, boss, that we have so much land, let's, utilize it because we are up to here. And not to mention how you can make transport a lot easier. Just to take their side for a second, I'm on your side, but I'm taking their side because there's nobody here. Plus, I have to apply for some permits from BMC. But not to do with trees. To matrimony. Carry on, sir. So, what is your argument when they tell you ki vikas, civilization, blah, blah?
See, it's... I think a lot of us would have been to Singapore. I mean, what better example of progress and greenery together do you require?
Right.
You can go to Dubai, which is a desert they've made green.
Right.
I mean, go Anywhere
they're
in
going the other way. They've taken from nothing and made into something and kept nature, or in some cases artificial nature, but at least you have a sense of nature. And you're saying we are going with our rich nature and all that we had, we are just letting it all go.
Whatever needs to be developed can be done in a good way also. They don't have to see today our government is working. The more they destroy, they are putting out an illusion that they are doing
Great work.
great work. Destruction is
For the greater good. That's the line they use.
destruction is the mark for progress.
It looked like a snake, so I got
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah.
So you're going to bite me or something for a second, you know.
So this is unfortunately how the
But what do they want from it? What the argument
well,
is
what is Aarey? What is this depot? Depot is where they park the
Milk.
trains. No. Yes, but they can milk the land
Yeah.
because they need to park their trains where they wash it, repair it, etc. It's like a bus depot. I mean, we have bus depots all over the city. The bus route may be anywhere. The bus gets on another road and goes and parks in the depot in the night and gets repaired there. So this is exactly what a metro depot is. So, but to get to a metro depot, you need two tracks because it needs a track to go there. They can build a track anywhere. We have a metro line.
But
on
anywhere means where?
But so
You have to be specific now about
there
where.
you can build it wherever you can take your track. You need a plot of land.
So you're saying the alternative options are there?
There were 9 options available already.
Oh.
Each one, when government wants that we want to do wrong, they will find all sorts of excuses why they cannot do anything. I can give you the full story of each and every plot why they don't want to do it. But let me explain what's a depot. We go, have you been by any chance on the Warsaw Ghatkopar metro?
Only when I was drunk.
Okay, Metro 1. They have a depot at Warsaw. Depot is, supposing this is the entire depot, the depot is maybe 30%, rest of it are buildings.
Oh.
It's there in Warsaw.
So that's the shady game that's going on.
That is the thing.
I see.
The Metro 2, which is Link Road, from Andheri to Dahisar on Link Road, it has a Charkop depot, which is maybe 2 kilometers away from Link Road.
Okay.
They found a plot of land, they made the depot there. They took the tracks there and they made it. Then there was Metro 7, Andheri Western Express Highway to Dahisar East. The depot was to be at Dahisar. They did not get the land. So they said, chalo, let's link it to Metro 2 and let's make the depot at Charkop. So they did it. That Metro 7 depot is 5 kilometers away from their route. But what they did, they merged the two lines, made it much more convenient for people to use. You don't have to change trains. It's a direct, it's a loop. Like you go to London, New York, you go anywhere in the world, the metro, on the same line, you can go to different locations.
But by using Aarey, is there a benefit to society or not?
Well, real estate is a good development benefit, depends how you look at it. So, the plan of the government on paper was to make entire Aarey into the next BKC. It is on paper. In the draft development.
They've used these words, next BKC. Oh.
My words is next BKC because they made a map and they have shown that in 1970 Nariman Point was the industrial hub, 1980 was BKC, and now Aarey is the new development potential.
This is that same Bengali word Vikas. Because you're going from here, then the next one, then the next one.
So
that shows progress.
It is in black and white. And the flaw of BKC is that it has no public transport.
Right.
So to correct that flaw for the development of Aarey, they wanted public transport. So in that view, what they have done is,
you can see the reason.
It's in black and white. We don't have to. It's not no assumptions. So then, when this protests of Mumbaikas got huge, let me give a little history to this also. This project of the metro line was planned by Prithviraj Chauhan when he was the chief minister. That was the Congress government.
The minister, not the famous king. My listeners are very old also, some of them. They remember old times. So that's going back many, many years. 3 decades actually.
Not 2014 he was chief minister.
2014, just 1 decade.
Yeah.
I should have studied all this. But now I can tell you the battles that Prithviraj Chauhan fought. So,
And when the BJP government came into power in 14 or 15, Mr. Fadnavis became the chief minister. They agreed that Aarey should not be developed. It should be protected. They agreed.
They overturned the old.
No. So when the government changed, one government planned it, new government came into place.
Okay, got it.
They said we disagree with what they did and we need to protect Aarey.
Then what happened?
Agreed. They've constituted their own government committee of the top bureaucrats of this thing, including the municipal commissioner, MMRDA commissioner, UDD, everybody. And all of them said, no, Aarey needs to be protected. Do not make a depot in Aarey. Let's move the depot to Kanjur, which is Kanjur Marg, where it can be integrated with the next line which is coming, the next metro line. So we will have a better place for the depot. We will save the environment. We'll have an integrated system.
So what happened?
Then once you sit on the seat, you become the seat. Yeah.
But why should policy change?
So, but this is what happened. Everything wrong that the previous government did, the next government does better. That's life.
So you're changing my sense of politics. It doesn't matter who's the government.
No, I don't look at it.
Your moral is there'll be no trees. You vote for whoever you want to vote for.
It doesn't make. I am very clear.
So why
there's only one good politician.
Abraham Lincoln, but he's dead.
No. The one who's in opposition.
Oh, at that point, very good, very good.
He's the only good politician you will find.
Yeah.
The moment they come in power, they all get corrupt.
Very fair.
They all.
But then how when you went to court and all that, why did the judgment go against you? Because you also had all this information.
So no, a lot of information came out. There are a lot of issues to this. Right from 2014 till 2019. There was a stay on all development in Aarey by the NGT. In 2019, due to lot of pressure finally which came up, the NGT put up their hands and said, sorry, we cannot decide this matter. So this entire system is also compromised. We have to fight it as best as we can.
What's coming out is that the conservationists and environmentalists are the only ones with a straight agenda. Everybody else goes up and down.
No, not... let's put it that way. It's not a matter of being straight or who's this thing. What are we fighting for?
The right to pee.
in that tree on Aarey. Yes.
Yeah, in a sense. Okay. To be one with nature.
So, it could be looked the other way around, that once you want to pee on that tree, then you protect it as your own territory.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It could be.
No, I know we're joking about this, not to be insensitive, but 2,000 trees were cut in the end.
Much more.
More than 2,000 were cut.
Yes.
And so what is Aarey right now?
So Aarey is of 2,000 acres, I think.
Wow.
This is around 80 acres, which they have destroyed. But it's not the thing. It's once you put your toe in.
Then you put the whole body in at some point.
Yes. Yeah. It's when you get your leg in the door, then the door is open for you.
It's like alcoholism or marriage. You can't get out of the damn thing. I will take a quick break now, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Aarey. I want to get to Malwa Hill. We'll run out of time because he's a serial litigant in a good way and fights for the environment all across the state for now, city rather. But I'm sure if you want, he'll come to your city and shout and fight for you as well. So please write in to us. And
Cyrus!
They don't want to save me. Nobody wants to save me. We'll take a break.
It's time. Create the life you've always dreamed of. Join me, Ashton Doctor, on a journey of self-discovery, productivity, and wellness. In just a few minutes, we'll bring you practical insights and actionable tips to help you build positive habits that stick. Tune in to The Compounding Mindset, brought to you by Access Mutual Funds. Subscribe to the podcast now and start your transformation today. Don't wait, do it now. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Welcome back to the show. We are chatting. We're coming to that, but before we go to the item number, very important, we, for the first half of the show, kept this off because of environmental issues. Because you came here, this lovely man, our DOP, Abhay sir, said, no, we won't put it on, but we have to put it on the second because it's also aesthetics. So this is a compromise, So we save the environment and keep our aesthetics. So you have your vikas, but you don't go, there's no nuksan attached to it. We're trying to, mix it up. But let's quickly get into the item number you mentioned, because visibility is very important. How do you get your thing across? You need the odd Priyanka Chopra sweeping the floor. So Swachh Bharat.
You missed the break. Sorry now. If
No.
Time's gone. Yeah.
Look, we'll research it. Shreya's googling it as we speak. So I'll get the information. Then we'll call up that lady. Who was the item? Not item wrong. Let's not use that word. Who was the lovely exclusive artist who came to, or artists who came to support?
The Rakhi Sawant.
I'm on the side of the BMC. I'm switched.
No, but very sweet.
I don't blame Fadnavis ji. I mean, there's only so much he can take. How educated aadmi hai. Rakhi Sawant came. Did you think this through? Did you put her along with the trees? So in case 2000
was, I don't know whether she's married or what to some politician. I think she's.
I thought Manglik married to a tree.
Could be also. But she was there.
But nobody else? You didn't get any of the...
No, I'm just... Now, go on to other questions.
You're taking on the Maharashtra government, the BMC, possibly the centre at some point, but you don't want to talk about Bollywood actresses. Where, honestly, I think you're safer.
Bollywood actresses, honestly, I didn't really interact with any of them, but I know her because she was there in one of the meetings.
I don't want to know what your relationship vis-a-vis is.
Very close.
If they supported, bolna, Baba. He's so open about the environment when you ask him about, come on. Yeah. All right. So just to finish there, so basically those 80 odd acres have been compromised. And you're worried that that's a dip in the ocean and they'll continue. Subsequent governments, as you said, if you're in opposition, you're one guy, come to power, then, everything is compromised. So Aarey at the moment, you're very negative about, is it?
Means it's that their toe is in already the door.
So there's no point fighting further?
No, of course. See, it's a matter of the fight continues. See, governments keep changing,
what
but
do
people
the
have
courts
to
say? The courts, what is the reason? Why would the court give the mandate from their point of view?
Let me put it this way. 2019, the Supreme Court suo moto took up the matter of the Aarey forest and stayed it. And that stay continues till today, but work is finished.
1 second.
Yes.
3 generations of lawyers.
Yeah.
If the highest appellate state in the country says that you can appeal to, says stay order, how can anything happen?
That's how the courts work. Sorry.
So in spite of the, are you serious with what you're saying?
Yes.
In spite of that, they were able to...
Absolutely. October 2019. Friday, the High Court passed an order that we are unable to decide this matter. There were a dozen petitions before the Bombay High Court. Some of the petitions, they went against us and they said that we are permitting the government to go ahead. But the crux of the issue, whether this is a protected area or not, they said the matter is pending in the Supreme Court in some other connected matter. So we cannot decide it. You need to go to the Supreme Court to decide it. Friday evening, they passed order. Friday afternoon. Friday evening, the government started cutting the trees. Friday night.
Okay.
It became a big issue in Mumbai. It was October 2019. Thousands of people came into Aarey and protested. They arrested 30 people. It was a big hangama. Saturday, Sunday, they imposed curfew at Aarey. And they continued cutting the trees. On Sunday, some law student in Delhi went to the Chief Justice of India's house and complained.
Wow.
He and maybe his group was law students in Delhi. They said that this is too much, and it was huge. That weekend was an explosive weekend on what was happening in Mumbai.
Yeah.
What was the need for the government to cut trees in the night? Who work in the night?
Because they were worried if we stopped.
Thieves, robbers, etc.
Wow.
Right?
Zoru, you're going there with this.
Absolutely.
I was thinking they just want to start.
Why? Because if the government was doing something right, they would do it in the day at a leisurely pace. There was no need for
So any work in the night is criminal, is what you're saying?
No, not
I
any
do
work.
events.
Not any work. I'm saying this particular work.
Okay.
Why? Why were they in such a hurry? For 2 reasons. They didn't want, because courts...
They wanted to start the work.
No, the courts are shut for the weekend.
Oh, right.
And the coming week was Dasera holiday in Supreme Court.
Correct. So they got 3-4 days.
So they had a week and another weekend before the Supreme Court opened.
Oh, how?
They had 14 days time. And they needed to clear out.
So it's legally it was like it's a stalemate and they went in and there's nothing that can be done for 14 days technically because law
Yes.
has come to a standstill.
So I must say, well, they're sitting in government, they have to use their.
Be very
If they
careful.
could only use all this for good, that's
Power.
power.
With power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
As one of the greatest Indians once said in a movie called Spider-Man. We should listen to our epics and our past is important to understand the future. It's a fair comment. So all this happened.
But as luck had it, this law student landed up at the Chief Justice of India's house and said, what's going on? I don't know if he met him, he just put the representation, whatever. I don't know what happened there. But the Chief Justice of India constituted a special bench
Wow.
on Monday morning on a Dasera holiday,
My God.
where is the only week in the year where Supreme Court doesn't have vacation bench. Summer vacation, they have vacation bench. Diwali holiday, they have vacation bench. But Dasera, they don't have vacation
And
bench.
also sometimes in the Sierra thing, they tie Ravan to a tree.
Might be.
So maybe that might have also helped
have
because you need to find a place to hold the prop up like that. Huh?
So the matter was listed on Monday
Sorry,
morning.
two non-Hindus discussing
I
the
don't
Sierra.
know. I don't know about
we
this.
may have more litigation coming our way. Be careful. Yeah, go on.
So Monday morning, the matter was listed in the Supreme Court, suo moto. We flew from Bombay to Delhi, all of us. We went to Supreme Court, there was a lock outside. Like, open. We have a matter. They said, band hai, next week aao.
Wow.
It took us 1 hour to get in because nobody believed us. And of course, we had to show the cause list and this thing. And we landed up before the Supreme Court and the government said, absolute lie, we have already cut all the trees we needed to cut. So don't worry, we are not going to cut any more trees. So we don't mind, you can pass a stay order. But they had not cut all the trees. And they had imposed curfew, so nobody could go to check what was happening. And as it is, it's a 80-acre plot which is barricaded. So unless you have to see it, means you have to go to some neighboring building and look from through some telescope to see what is happening there. There's nothing around. So this is the statement made by the government. Over the weekend, we cut whatever we needed to cut. We don't need to cut anything more. So you are welcome to give a stay. So the court gave a stay. Then, good luck, bad luck, whatever, 2 months later, the government changed.
And the policy changed.
And the new government said, Aarey needs to be protected.
The UBT government came. The Shiv Sena government came.
Uddhav Thackeray,
Uddhav Thackeray,
MVA government came.
At that time, they were not split. Sorry. Original Shiv Sena came.
Original Shiv Sena. They came into power. First decision the government did, we need to protect Aarey. And they took their own sweet time to decide how to move it out. They said they went through all the old records and they said the old plan of 2015 to move it to Kanjur is implementable even today. So let's do it.
What about those trees that have already gone?
But the trees were not cut.
Oh, they weren't cut yet?
No. Out of 3,000 trees, maybe around 300 trees were cut, or I'll give them benefit of 500 trees were cut.
Okay.
But the vast majority were not cut. And the 2020 government decided that we are anyway not going to do anything here. We are going to move it out through this thing. So anyway, they stopped work there.
And COVID also happened, no?
COVID also happened. But anyway, work was stopped in that plot. And naturally, the plot reforested itself.
Oh.
So in 20...
So it's not just the Indians who breed.
Yeah.
It's also nature in India.
You
They
know...
are just too good, yeah?
Yes.
Look the other way, one more child.
The other... Absolute. But the reason why it was so fertile is because these guys had dumped soil to raise the plot. So that soil come the water, natural water. There are 3 natural perennial rivulets flowing through the plot. It's the most fertile.
Yeah.
And that mud which they added to it.
I used to be like that, huh? Not anymore.
Yes.
Could have done so much with the Parsis. Anyway, we should have also thought of making more parsis, like making more trees. We could have been a very good geo parsi, geo paid. We could have done something there.
We could have added some Aarey.
Damn it. Why didn't I think of this genius idea? Back to your story, sir.
So by the time the next government, again the government
Oh
changed.
God, this is like a comedy
It
now.
is absolute. It's a
Sorry.
22.
It's like Yes Minister.
2022, again the government changed. And government said, no, we will make the depot back in Aarey. By the time the plot was entirely full jungle again. Thicker than before also. And what they did this time, I must say, government is too sharp when they want to do wrong.
He's saying, we are very pro-government here. We have government figures, posters all over, which you saw when you entered. Yeah. And yeah, we are very secular with our governments. Whoever the government, we support the government.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're saying absolutely.
Absolutely. So what they did,
2022 now, we are at
now
2022.
in 22, the entire plot, so they were, over the years, they had built some where there were no trees, they had built some structures. Those structures were 3 floors high. The trees were taller than those structures.
Wow.
Those structures were hidden in the jungle. What they did, they brought JCBs, which is the national bird animal of India. National vehicle of India, JCB. And they just drove into every tree, crushed it, bent it, and drove over it, and made chura out of it, and said, there's no tree. Because there was only pulp.
Was there a stay order still or not?
Yes, Supreme Court stay order.
Oh.
So we went running to Supreme Court, what is going on? They made us dance, this bench, that bench, this bench, that bench. Finally, it took 2 months for it to come up. Again, they said no.
So in the meantime, they continued with the tree
Yes,
killing.
we have all the records. By the time we got drones, we got everything we had. Showing them absolutely like a sugarcane field they were clearing, like that, with JCBs. It just absolutely...
So how many total loss?
Originally, and in that they cut everything, the old 3,000 trees and all the new trees which grew. So absolutely much more than 3,000. And in those 3,000 trees which were to be cut, 600 were to be transplanted. That means you remove it from here and plant it somewhere else.
Right.
So they said we've done our work. So even today we ask them, but where are those 600 trees which you moved? If you moved it from here, it would have come somewhere else now. No, because those are also crushed, pulped. They pulped it. So if you go to take a picture, you will not even find a cut tree, which is very similar to what they did in Hyderabad. You know, last month there was a huge thing in Hyderabad. JCBs. This is a new way of how to cut a tree.
So what you're saying?
Because they don't need a saw any longer.
Even with judicial support, you cannot stop this. I mean, you sort of stop it, but they keep finding ways between the lines to continue. Yeah.
See, at our
without criticizing the government,
I'm trying to how to criticize
use
the
a metaphor.
court.
Use a metaphor.
Our courts, our judiciary are not supermen. They are ordinary people who are there as judges who are under severe pressure. They may be Supreme Court judges, they may be High Court judges, but they are having their own pressures.
Don't criticize the judiciary. I can't protect you. I am a 1-year LLB.
But it's a fact. Forget Aarey. You look at it for entire country. At the end of the day, whatever happens gets a stamp of approval from the courts today. And this is exactly what happened in Aarey. Despite all evidence, the top court of the country gave a stamp of approval to wrong.
So right now, what is the situation? They're building.
So now this is built. The depot got built.
What is the loss of trees totally? How percentage-wise? It's a huge forest. Have you been able to stop that?
It's not a matter of the trees. See, first of all, one more important thing about this particular plot. It's not only about the trees, it's an ecosystem. And the other thing is this plot is on the banks of the Mithi river, which was a low-lying plot. When it rains heavily and the Mithi river overflows, the water used to fill into this plot. It's a holding pond or called a floodplain.
Right.
Which protects the downstream areas when it rains heavily.
So now you don't have protection.
No. So that went.
So we'll wipe out the whole city.
2018, that already, they started filling it up in 18, that already went. And that mud which they filled was that fertile which helped for the tree growth. So they filled up the plot with 30 feet of mud. So the loss to the city is not only trees.
Also aesthetics and all that. There's so much more that you're not even talking about that comes lower in the level of issues.
But let me tell, there was this entire hangama that this metro depot, if it is not made, the metro can't start and it is delayed and
You won't be able to
10,000
connect so
crores
many
cost
places.
and 14,000 crores, all sorts of numbers and rubbish being floated around. The depot is ready since 2 years. But the line is still not ready till today.
Sorry, shouldn't laugh. Okay. Sorry.
So I have a very cute AI generated this thing that those leopards from Aarey are now entering the tunnel and stopping the work somewhere else.
Poor leopards. I have two questions. We'll run out of time. I want to talk about Malabar Hill very quickly, but before that, I just want to show. This is our first guest who's taken his shoes off and just flung them in the middle of the studio. And oddly, he's a Parsi. Generally, we never take our shoes off because unlike many other communities, when you enter the house, you take things off. Here, we take nothing off. Sometimes you take the pant off, but that's festival days. So this is just a great moment for us. Zoru, we'll never forget this. Environmentalist as you are, a bit more mentalist also.
Absolute mentalist. I don't know where the environment part came in.
Quickly, Malabar Hill, where I live.
Please.
You also agitated against that boardwalk or whatever that they were trying to make.
No, that's a good thing. It's about the hanging garden, the tank reservoir.
Yeah.
Another absolute cockeyed plan of the BMC.
Cockeyed?
Cockeyed. Rubbish, fake plan.
This is the 80s sledging. You won't hear words like cockeyed today,
We have a water tank called the Malabar Hill Reservoir, which is 140 years old. And the only reason they want to replace it is because it's 140 years
I
old.
thought you meant Mrs. Mehta. Quite a large... anyway, go on.
Well, it's called Firozshah Mehta
Yeah.
Garden. I don't know where the Mehta came from.
No more. Be very careful.
So there's a water tank where on the roof of the water tank, there is a garden built, terrace garden.
Right.
On the terrace, on the roof of the water tank.
Yeah.
Built 100 years ago, which is called hanging gardens.
Yeah.
And they said, they came out with all sorts of stories. It's dilapidated, it's going to collapse. If it collapses, the water will flow, entire Malabar Hill.
Marine Drive and
everybody will be like...
Except the Bhathena family, all good swimmers.
Yeah. So when we said, what nonsense, how is it possible? They told us, we've got scuba divers to go into the tank to check it and it's terrible and all that.
Really? I've never seen it. I live there.
Yeah.
Not one scuba diver has visited since 1947 when the British left. We keep searching for scuba divers.
And we arm twisted them into inspecting it, and we've gone in and inspected it, and it's beautiful. It's better than any other structure you will find in the city.
But you can't stop it.
No, so we have stalled it.
But you've been stalling a lot of things.
Stalling a lot of things.
Unfortunately, there seems to be ways around your stalling.
Yes,
Whatever
That's
happens.
how it is.
All right, Zoru, we will run out of time. I want 5 minutes just talk about your family because you've just been going on about the environment and with due respect. Now, after 10 minutes, I said, okay, now what can I do here? But what happened to you? Did you used to swim as well?
Well, I'll tell you, I used to swim when I was in school in maybe 4th, 5th standard. So I had a lot of...
but you weren't as quick as Farhad. I mean, you didn't have those records and all that.
Farhad is Farhad.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of medals and certificates from swimming. So I must tell you a very funny story about this. When I finished my 10th, I got 68, which is not something great.
Oh, I thought you were going to say very horny.
Yeah, that also, but I'm talking about the mark.
Who wants to know about your bloody 68? 69?
No.
Very different.
But I was one mark
below.
One mark off.
So 68?
So I...
Is Chandrabhai?
No, I was at Learners at Pali Hill. And I applied at NM. And NM cutoff was 90 and all. So I don't know what I did and why I went there. But anyway, then they had a sports quota. So I said, chalo, let me put my application in the sports quota. So they called me for an interview. So the guy who was interviewing me said, Zoru Bhathena.
It's an odd name for a lot of people.
Who is, are you related to Farhad?
Oh.
So I said, yeah. So he said, how are you related? I said, he's my brother. No, he's
much older.
Much older. So I said, yeah, 11 years older than me.
No, Parsis. We continue into the 80s.
So he said, oh, you're his brother. Oh, okay. And but that was the discussion. And next day I saw my name in the list, approved.
Wow.
I got into NM. Under swimming quota, that too, which I was swimming when I was fourth.
Which you hadn't done for years.
No, I had not done for 10 years before that. So I asked
You're a bit like the government.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to shady dealing here.
Please, let me clarify. Let's make no mistake, I am not some goody-goody person.
Correct.
I know very well how to do wrong. So I also know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And that is important.
And you're hoping that some government will also do right.
Yes, we live in hope. So I asked my brother, I said this, I went to NM and I met this guy and he was very excited, you and all. So who is he? Aarey, he was my teacher when I was in college. I said, weren't you in Mithibai? So he said, no, I was in NM. So I said, my bloody hell, I don't even know which college my brother was in. So when he was in college, I was a small little kid, so I really don't know. So thanks to my brother, my brother's name I got into NM under swimming quota.
So this is also nepotism, by the way.
Absolutely.
You're a nepo kid in your own way.
Absolutely. So that sir used to come every 1 month to catch me. There is this swimming competition. You must appear.
Did you take part in the
Never, not once. I did not even once. He said, I'm going to remove you from the college. I said, you do whatever you want.
Wow, what a story. So then,
So I tell all, I met my wife in college. We were in class together in NM. And we have a group of 20, 30 good friends, even till today, all from class. And I tell all of them, I said, you bloody slogged 10 standard, 90%, 94, 90, this whatever percent. I was like 68% and with all of y'all in the same class.
You did a very Delhi thing. You called up your brother.
I didn't call up also.
It's a fabulous story. A lot of fraud in his past as well. But that's how people change. You're going from that shady past of yours where you were supposed to swim, but you didn't.
We still want a shady future today also.
Yeah. We're joking about it, but he's fighting the battle. As we end, is there another thing that you're fighting right now that's going on?
Just look around the city. Every corner, every road, every park, every garden, same stuff.
I don't look out of the window only.
Good.
I keep my wife's photograph and I look at it. And between the fear I feel here and the fear I feel there, I'm okay, That's the way to live here. Just live in anxiety should become a friend of yours after some time. Stress and anxiety. You should wear it like badge of honor. I feel very good. But no, jokes apart, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you, Zoru. And please bring Farhad and Nawaz back. Both.
If you invite them, they'll be here.
Yeah, fantastic. We can talk car racing. And at the end, as we do with all our guests, we return the show.
I thought we were
This is the problem with having too many parties in the studio, boss. I can't control all this. Anyway, cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cyrus says every time, Cyrus says, जब ये कहे तुम सुनो, please. तमीज़ से बात करना है ना, important people यार.